Hello, hello, beautiful people. You see, I've already started a bit here and want to invite you to join me. I've laid out the photos that I plan to use. I've also got some new pink paisley embellishments that I picked up at one of the local craft stores. So I'm planning to have a lot of fun. So if you are ready to get your creativity groove on, kick up your heels and let's get going. So I have printed my photos, I've trimmed them down a bit. I've also pulled out a few potential project life cards that I think I might want to use. Today I am playing around with my Allie Edwards kit, my Studio Calico kit, and recently I've decided to see what I think about the Scraptastic Club kit. So all three of them will be incorporated a bit into this spread in addition to the pink paisley embellishments. So I've already journaled and now I'm just trimming down the journaling from that 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. And this week, I knew that I was going to journal on a 3x4 and a 4x6 card because this was our last kind of summer vacay, the last hurrah. We went to the mountains with a bunch of friends, and it's also the first week of school in this spread. So that meant a little bit of journaling on labels was just not going to do it. So this first bit of journaling on the 3x4 card is just all about the first week of school, the kids going back, me getting back into my rhythm at work, and I've got images of my little guy off to his first day of middle school. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in this moment. It's just blowing my mind. And of course, my oldest, who is now in 10th grade, and I also wanted to get a photo of me trying to look cute going off to work. So I've got these three images and again, the little bit of journaling as well. And I really thought that I wanted to use that big 4x6 adventure card as my title card. And that is from Studio Calico, I think. Yeah, from Studio Calico. So that black card is really setting the tone for the entire layout, really all about adventure and being outdoors, and really going with browns, gold, and black as the color scheme for this week's spread. So first up, I had this largely brown 3x4 card, but I wanted to add a little bit of white to it, and so you saw me just cut a little bit of that white cardstock and cover the second half or the bottom half of that card. I'm also going to use this Scraptastic 3x4 card. It's a dark blue, and so my initial thought is I can pull this off and it will work. You'll see what happens in a bit shortly. So just moving a few things around, want to determine kind of placement, and still not really convinced about whether or not I want to put the two first day of school photos on 3x4 cards for the boys or whether or not I want to layer them together on a 4x6 card. In the end, I'm going to go for the 4x6 and just put them together, in part because I have a lot of photographs that I want to include in this week's spread, and I also want to make sure that I'm able to include just some of the fun designs of the 3x4 cards from Studio Calico as well. Many of them are all about kind of this outdoor nature theme, and so I want to be able to have some of them represented in the spread. So there you go. That card right there, really one of my favorites. It says, "Let the adventure begin." The background are mountains and trees, and so absolutely perfect for this week's spread. So at this point, I'm going to move on to the weekend photographs and start to include some of them, but I also need to decide where I'm going to place the journaling. That's really all about the Labor Day weekend. So I'm going to trim down the journaling just a bit. I really like this grid card, and I need to just see where I want to place the journaling, whether I like the way it looks at the top of the 4x6 card or whether or not it's better at the bottom. So I picked up several little packets you see there of some pink paisley goodies. liking that, and I got these gold letters that I'm thinking would really just jazz up the spread, but not sure if I'm going to incorporate them just yet. Those are some old, not old, a couple months old, Allie Edwards tags from one of her summer kits. They're off-white creamy color tag, and so I haven't used them yet because most of the time I tend to go with the stark white. So still going to hold on to them. They're not going to make their way into this week's spread. Okay, so I figured this out. I'm going to go ahead and place the journaling at the top of the 4x6 card. And in part, I'm going to do this because I really, really like this black tag from the Pink Paisley collection there. And I think that that'll be a nice pairing with the large black 4x6 title card. And it also has gold as well. So just absolutely sweetness. Okay. So, my little guys, oh my gosh, it is just the weirdest thing as a mom. I don't know. I'm just watching them grow up before my eyes, and there are these moments when it's so amazing just to have real people conversations and just kind of go through what it means to have a preteen and a teenager. And then, like this morning, when I got up and it was raining a bit, so I dropped my 10th grader off at school. And I don't know, I felt a little bit weepy or sad because I was remembering when he was little and, in daycare, and I didn't have to drop him off, and he could stay home with me, and I could cuddle, and he would nurse, and, so I don't know. Having one of those interesting days, maybe because it's rainy and cloudy outside, but I'm just kind of missing my babies a bit. Yeah. Well, okay. So you can see I am going to play around a bit with just adding touches of the black and the gold to the spread. And again, just want to kind of have a nice balance with the white and the browns and the black. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that black tag to the 4x6 card. And I want to add some fun embellishments just to jazz it up a bit. And that's like a canvas embellishment, which is nice. And it says, love this. So that's perfect because the journaling is all about how special it is when we're able to get away with our family friends. For this trip, normally we do 2 camping trips. One at the beginning of the summer with the whole crew, family, friends, and then one at the end of the summer. We couldn't get all the different schedules to sync up, and so the only possible weekend we could all get away was Labor Day, and I knew there was no way we were going to be able to get all of our camping stuff together. So we decided instead that we would rent a big old house in the woods for Labor Day weekend, a little less kind of stressful. All you have to do is kind of throw your clothes in the car and we could all head up to the mountains on Friday. So that's what we did. We just basically raided our pantries, threw a bunch of food in the car, threw the clothes and the swimsuits in, and just, headed out. So wanted just to journal about how meaningful it is, I think, for all of us to be able to get together, for the kids to play. We brought board games. We just went outside and took walks, hikes. We got to go down to the lake and kids played in the sand, and the adults, we grilled out on the lake. And then some of the older kids went paddleboarding and kayaking. We did some zip lining. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, our camping weekend was great at the beach, but this, I don't know, this might actually be the winner. And even I really enjoy getting away with the large group. I enjoy our little small family vacations, but there's something really fun, and maybe it's just because the kids are older. And there were tons of kids, and it was just glorious, and I was just so grateful. So anyway, all of that, or good bits of that at least, is included in the journaling, and I wanted to make sure I selected just a nice variety of photographs as well, just to kind of highlight all the different activities and the fun that we had. Okay, so I've gone back and after kind of deliberating for a while, finally just gonna stick those first day of school photos down on that 4x6 card, adding a little embellishment under the photograph to just add a little bit of interest. Trying to see if I want to add those gold letters, but feeling like they're a bit too large. And then I see that in this pink paisley kit, there is one sticker that says moments, word sticker. Absolutely perfect. First day of school is certainly a memorable moment. And so I stick that down, and that's perfect. We always take lots of group photos, and so all the men, some are hubbies, some are not, but all the men that we love, we took a photo of them, and I just made that one a black and white. And if you've watched a couple of my videos, lately what I enjoy doing is including some photos that are black and white and then leaving some in color, either just the original color, or occasionally I'll also put a slight filter on the color photograph. And I think kind of using both the black and white and the color photographs is interesting, adds just kind of another fun touch to a spread. So if you haven't tried that out, please do. I'm really enjoying that at this moment. So initially I liked that Scraptastic Club blue card, but decided blue was really not in the color scheme so much, and so trimmed it off and found another card. I think that, I can't remember if that's a Studio Calico or another Scraptastic card, but it's it's brown and white, so that really fits nicely with the whole layout, and so I'm going to use that one instead. I also found a wood grain, except it's like a gold grain 3x4 card, and I'm pretty sure that that is Studio Calico, perhaps several months back, and so that looks nice. And that little gold and symbol, that is from the pink paisley embellishment kit there. So I'm not sure if I want to cut the journaling into two halves or leave it as I've typed it whole. I do decide to go ahead and just leave it and not mess with it. So I find a little embellishment to place on the journaling. It says "Be You." And then I'm going to just go ahead and adhere that down. And that's good to go. Oh, and add a couple staples just cuz. All right, so we're getting pretty close at this point. But what I am realizing is that I still have many more photos to include. So I'm going to staple that down, trim half of that circle off. I do like kind of allowing embellishments or photographs sometimes to hang off the side of a page. And it kind of, that continuous flow, I think, keeps the eye moving. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can add to that particular 3x4 card. At the moment, I don't think so. And so I'm going to move on now to the insert, because again, I have lots of photos that I want to show, just kind of the fun and all the different activities that we had a chance to enjoy. So now I'm working on the insert, and it will include 2 3x4 and 1 4x6 on one side and the same on the other. But because it will insert between the two 6x12 sheets, I want to make sure that the layout and the color scheme pair nicely with the rest of the week spread. So I'm going to fiddle around a bit with different options and how I want the photographs to sit in the actual pockets. So I love that deer, but I said, you know what? It was still summer and the deer feels more like fall, winter. So I'm going to skip that 3x4 card and not use it. I'm looking at a couple other options. Some have too much blue in them. Some just not exactly it. So my little guy, who for the longest has always said he has a fear of heights. I don't know when he decided he had a fear of heights, maybe about the age of 5. And has never wanted to do zip lining at all, not even little kiddie zip lining where you could basically just jump right down. But on his first day of school, first week of school, so this was like Wednesday or Thursday, they went on a team building field trip, and he tried zip lining. Something about peer pressure, I swear. So he loved it. So this weekend, when we were in the mountains, he decided he was game for some more zip lining. I mean, my mind was just blown. So I got to watch him do it, and that's a photograph on the far left of him just rocking and rolling up there. And then on the right is a photo of my son with some of the other teenagers headed out to do some paddle boarding. All right, so there are these transparencies that are also included in that pink paisley, one of those pink paisley kits, and so, or embellishment collections. And that one that I just stapled down says play hard, which I thought was absolutely perfect for the zip lining. And so now I'm just moving some things around. That let the adventure begin card, I added a cork arrow, which is really fun, but I wanted the arrow to point toward my son headed out paddleboarding rather than have the arrow just like point to nothingness, right? And I also took a photo as we were driving into the mountains, and I used some app that what's it called? I'm going to look it up while I'm talking to you right now. It allows you, what's it called? Insta Map, or there's Insta Food, Insta Weather, and I think this is like Insta Map. And so you can include the location and the time or date on the photograph. So that's what I've got on the right there. And then I just layered in a couple embellishments on that card. One that says, what does that card say? It says road trip, which is absolutely perfect. And then, let's see, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping to finish up the date card. I didn't realize that my iPad stopped recording, but I added that big gold hello on the date card and week 35 just with the little small black letter stickers. And then using this kind of brown paper to put the dates. And I'm just going to trim this down a little bit extra by hand. And adhere it with my tiny attacher. Really, really simple, but keeping again with the whole color scheme of the layout. Thought it might need a bit of glue, but yeah, that one staple is just fine. So now I need to go back in. I have this other transparency, again from the pink paisley set, that's really nice. It's got a hint of gold brown leaves, so I think that fits in perfectly. Gonna round a few corners here. And I feel like this just needs one additional touch or two, but this is pretty much it. This was a great layout. I wasn't so sure while it was in the process, but once I finished it, I really, really like how it turned out. I'm glad that I added the extra photographs and took the time to journal before I began this week's spread. Hope you are finding some creative moments. And if you haven't tried the color scheme of black, brown, and gold, give it a try. I am really loving it. All right, my beautiful crafty souls. Until next time, peace, love, and light to you all. Hugs, hugs, and hugs.